Hey everyone, I am Lorcana Dad Nash, and I just got done with a set champs here at a store just outside of Nashville and Franklin called Outer Limits. And I want to talk about the deck I ran, kind of cover what I went through at the tournament. Went really well, got top 8, which was super great. And so let's take a look at the build that I used. It comes from one of my favorite creators in the Lorcana community, Harlan Sweet. I've been following Harlan for a while and used some of his techniques for blue steel in previous set champs, and I was very excited when he announced what he played at the store Creator Championships in London, and I think also at a couple other places that he got to play it at. So if you hadn't seen the deck, this is what the deck looks like right here. This is it's called Kiwi, and it's named after the Australian bird, the Kiwi bird, which if you've not seen is like the most hilarious looking thing in the world, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So this is the basic outline of the deck. You have these awesome 1-drops. These are great against certain matchups where you may want to shift your Robin Hood, or you may want to use a Sticky Mickey and a Calhoun to snipe Daisy Ducks on the draw. In general, the deck runs with Doc as your main source of card draw. If you're on the play, you want to get a 1-drop down for sure, and then ideally your lines are to get a Mr. Smee down, and then hopefully get an Alice, and then a bodyguard Pluto down here on turn 4, and then use Alice to protect Pluto, so that way nothing can really ping Pluto to get rid of his +4 attack. And then he's ready to allow Alice to quest and give Smee more lore next turn. And then you can start getting into your big fellas like Cogsworth, Scrooge McDuck, Gentoo. There's some removal in here, which is very helpful for certain situations like dealing with genies or dealing with Diggy Diggy Holes where you just need to spot remove certain cards, especially if you can get down one of these three costers. Pete is awesome into matchups like Ruby Amethyst to prevent B-Preps and Ruby Sapphire to prevent some of their ramp even, especially if you can get some characters down to where they're starting to fear your board, and then you can play Pete's to where you can stop their ramp game. Obviously against Steel, you're going to want to get Calhoun or get Cogsworths down as soon as you can. On the play, you're going to want to get a 1-drop and then use your Calhouns, and then ideally get Pete's and Cogsworths down. Baymax is a great card, especially if you have a card like Pluto that has some damage on it. You can play Pluto on top and get that damage removed. Then obviously you've got the McDuck Manners to slam down after Be Prepared. It's just a really great list, and I'm doing like a very quick overview of this, but Harlan has done an incredible set of videos on all the matchup guides. I can add link to those in the comments, so definitely take a look at some of his videos, but that's like my sort of how I took it, and how, mostly following his advice and ran through it. In terms of the matchups that I had at Outer Limits, I had a Sapphire Emerald Blue Cow, and this deck was really an easy matchup because I don't think they were expecting anything as quick as what this deck can do. They were trying to ramp and use Muses, which was really funny because once I got my Alice's down and I used Alice as a ward to protect her ward and gave ward to other characters, the guy's whole game plan was thrown off because he couldn't use the Muses to bounce anything, which was kind of hilarious, and he called it out a couple times. So that one was relatively straightforward. Didn't take very long to beat that one. He did manage to bounce a few characters that weren't warded, but all in all, since he was just trying to ramp so hard, I got him very easily. Round 2, I faced an Amber Emerald that was extremely fast in the first game. He got down a Curse Merfolk, and I left it alone because I'm sure I can deal with it in a minute. And then turn 2, he dropped 2 more Curse Merfolks down, and then one other thing on turn 3 that was and he just raced me really, really fast, and I didn't have a chance to get it. But once I realized what was going on, instead of inking to a ton, I just got characters down and used Calhoun here to help kill, banish a lot of that stuff. Didn't mind taking care of a few of the Curse Merfolks and discarding a card here or there. But then I got to use Strength of a Raging Fire to remove them when I didn't want to discard, which was super duper helpful. So I ended up climbing back into that one, getting that one 2-1. Similar strategy for hyper aggro. It was basically just get the characters down as quickly as you can. Like I mentioned in the guide, the deck guide, Sticky Mickey plus Calhoun is a super awesome way to deal with that just absolutely annoying Daisy Duck that came out last set. So your Daisy sniping mechanism, because obviously Mickey doesn't take the damage at all from the Daisy, and then you can finish it off with the Calhoun and get that duck taken care of. She did manage to get me in the second game. She just got too many daisies, and I couldn't handle it. And she also had it's hyper aggro, so she had the 2-cost one that gives you lore and goats and different things like this. But I did manage to just spam the board with my own characters on the third game to take that one. This is where things got a little dicey. I was feeling pretty good. I was sitting at 3-0. And then I went in to play a Diggy Diggy Hole matchup against somebody that was also 3-0 in the tournament at the time. And I did win the dice roll. And it was I was feeling pretty good going into it. But I got in, and I had an okay opening hand. But they got 4 Calhouns down by like turn 3 or 4. And so I just couldn't quest, because most of my stuff at that point was just going to be removed if I quested, and which would have given him lore. He at one point had literally a Cinderella and 4 Calhouns down. It was just super unfortunate. He was also an incredible player, ended up actually winning the tournament. So I felt pretty good that, he kept complimenting the deck. This is where it was sort of funny, because I started playing cards and he just saw this. He's like, this is steel. And then finally saw my deck commander and he goes, this is like a blue steel? What is this? Like, he had no idea. It was kind of funny. But then on game 2, I just had a horrible hand. I missed a 1-drop, and I was on the play, the only thing I had on 2 was a Calhoun, and I just lost tempo. He just took over with all the Diggy Diggy Holeness. And then again, unfortunately, got a matchup against another Diggy Diggy Hole. I did a little bit better this time. Game 1 though, it was this kid actually was only 11. He was stunningly good though. But he got 2 daisies and a Cindy down like just almost instantly, and I just had no answers to deal with that. I did manage to get game 2 using Calhouns. I think I did drop a McDuck Manor in that game 2 to gain some passive lore. Some Pete's I think happened because he did use a couple of his removal cards too, and that stopped that. And the Robin Shift I think I got a Robin Shift in that one as well. So I was happy to get at least one. So I think in general, the Diggy Diggy Hole thing is similar to their strategy. You just gotta try to get down as many characters as you can. Try to keep it low to the ground. Try to stop their game plan until you can get a Cogsworth down to start singing removal, get that resist, then get starting as long as you can deal with their board, then finally get some of your big guys in at the end to finish questing. But it is a really tough matchup. It's probably one of the hardest matchups. I think it was definitely the hardest matchup here, obviously. And from talking to everybody around the Blue Steel community, it seems to be one of our hardest matchups. It's not impossible to win, but you definitely want to be on the play and get a bunch of characters down to deal with their board as quickly as possible. Snipe Cinderella with if you want to with the booms, stop their shift lines. But yeah, Piglet and Daisy combos are really tough if they decide not to quest for a turn, and they're just building up their board, and you don't have removal. There's not much you can do. It just kind of happens. Finally, though, I did get a favorable Ruby Sapphire, a Ruby Amethyst matchup. Followed standard lines. Finally, actually got to do what this deck does best, and got the 1-drop, a Smee, and then an Alice Pluto lockdown, and it felt awesome. Like I had 8 lore really fast, and they were really on their back foot on it. It felt really, really good. I think did get a B prep down, but by that point, I think the damage was already done, and then I just got to flood the board with some more characters after the B prep and close it. On game 2, while I was on the draw, I did get Calhouns down. I don't think that they got the Sisu working with Flynn, because by that point I'd already had enough characters down that my hand size was small enough. So they ended up just ditching the Flynn line I did get some peats down to stop brawls and B preps, and I got lucky on my draws and did get into a bunch of docks. The docks were super clutch for me in that particular matchup. So that was the got me into top 8. So then I went into top 8. I'm just now realizing I didn't put that in here, but I have it over on the tweet about this. In top 8, I was honestly I really wanted to keep going, but I was just so happy that I got a scar. But I did face this purple steel deck that was completely off meta. And I say that like it was using things that I'd never seen in a deck, purple steel deck, like the Challenger 03 Madam Mim on the skateboard, that he got several down. He spammed the board and then got around my Cogsworth's resists because he had 2 of those down. And then he also used this, it's a 6-drop card. It's a big dude. I've never seen it before. I'm just racking my brain. Let's switch back over to Dreamborn. Oh God, what is that card called? Well, I'll find it in a minute. Basically, it's the one that he comes in exerted at 6/6, and then anytime you banish something, he gets to ready himself. So he baited me, and I shouldn't have done it. He baited me with a Diablo, and I took it out, and then because I had a card exerted, he banished that, and then started that just crazy thing going on, which, yeah, wasn't good. And then my on the play on my last round against him, I just had a terrible hand. It was like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It was like I had 4 or 5 drops, a 3-drop, and a 1-drop, and I just couldn't recover. But I was just happy to get a score, so it didn't matter. It was an awesome tournament. Again, thanks to Harlan and Jack X Shadows for the just awesome list. Could not have done it without you. And looking forward to bringing Blue Steel back into the mix of things in Lorcana in a general sense. I'll probably go back to my traditional wheeling list at some point too, but this was just a fun way to use some of the favorite cards like Cogsworth and Alice and get to kind of surprise people, because nobody's seen this deck coming. I think we're taking the Lorcana community by storm here, and I'm really happy about it. So thanks again to y'all for helping me out in 20 Lore Pro. It's such a great community, and the Disney Lorcana community is just amazing anyways. It's my favorite thing in the world to do, and I'm super happy to talk about Lorcana and stuff going forward. And yeah, that's it.